I came to save you, said the Apache warrior to the young maiden hunted by hunters. The sun hung low over the red sands of Arava Prime, casting long shadows across the desert. The wind swept across the dunes, shifting them like waves on an endless sea. Myra ran, her heart pounding in her chest, the soft hiss of sand under her boots mixing with the rhythmic thrum of her own breath. She glanced over her shoulder and saw nothing, yet she could feel the presence of the hunters pressing close, their silent drones scanning the ground behind her. She had to keep moving. She had to survive. Myra was no ordinary girl. At 17, she had already become one of the most promising engineers on her homeworld. She understood energy cores, quantum circuits, and advanced mechanical systems better than anyone else in her small settlement. But her knowledge had drawn attention from people who did not care about her or her world, only about the technology she held. Now, running across the endless desert, she realized just how dangerous that knowledge could be. The desert seemed to stretch forever, a landscape of reds and oranges, dotted with jagged rock formations and whispering dunes. Myra knew the terrain well. She had explored it countless times, studying the shifting sands, learning where quicksand pockets formed, and where the dunes hid natural tunnels carved by the wind. That knowledge gave her an advantage, but it was not enough. The hunters had machines that could see through the air, scan the ground, and predict movement. They would not give up easily. A sudden shimmer of heat on the horizon caught her eye. She stopped for a moment, squinting, trying to make out the shape that seemed to shimmer like a mirage. Then a voice rang out, calm and clear. "I came to save you." Myra's heart leapt. The voice belonged to someone who had appeared out of nowhere, a figure clad in sleek, advanced exo armor, moving across the desert as if the sands themselves parted for him. He had the presence of a warrior, a calm confidence that made Myra pause and wonder if she could trust him. The figure stopped a few meters away and raised his hands in a gesture of peace. "I am Kiona," he said. "I will help you. You are being hunted, but you are not alone." Myra hesitated, glancing back at the empty horizon where the hunters' drones would appear at any moment. She wanted to run, to keep moving, but something about Kiona made her stop. He did not exude danger, he exuded protection. His armor gleamed in the sun, and the symbols etched into it told her he belonged to a long line of guardians, people who had always protected life in the galaxy. "I don't know if I can trust you," Myra admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "They will catch me if I slow down even a little." "You have courage," Kiona said, "and courage can be more powerful than any machine. Trust me, Myra, step this way." Without waiting for a full answer, Kiona moved ahead, guiding her toward a narrow canyon hidden by dunes. Myra followed cautiously, trusting her instincts as much as his words. As they ran together, Kiona explained that the hunters were not ordinary people. They were mercenaries, hired to capture her because of the knowledge she carried. Knowledge of a human-invented energy core capable of extraordinary things, things that could help civilizations, or harm them if misused. Myra listened, her mind racing. She had never left her small settlement before, never imagined herself running across a desert with a stranger. Yet there was a strange comfort in Kiona's presence. He moved with purpose, yet he was patient, waiting for her to keep up, helping her navigate the dunes without tripping. His understanding of the desert seemed innate, as if he had walked it 1,000 times. As the sun dipped lower, the desert became more challenging. Shadows lengthened, hiding the contours of the sand, making it difficult to judge where to step. Myra stumbled once, then caught herself, grateful for Kiona's hand reaching out in steady support. Together, they climbed over jagged rocks and leapt across narrow crevices, moving faster than Myra thought possible. She realized that humans, despite not having the advanced machines of the hunters, had something unique: creativity and adaptability. Every time a drone attempted to anticipate their path, they found a new way to escape, using the terrain, the shadows, and even the wind to their advantage. By nightfall, they reached a small oasis hidden between two rocky cliffs. The oasis was surrounded by thick clusters of alien plants, their leaves glowing faintly under the twin moons of Arava Prime. Myra's lungs heaved, her legs trembling from exhaustion, but for the first time in hours, she felt safe. Kiona sat beside her, removing his helmet to reveal a calm, human-like face, his eyes reflecting the soft light of the moons. "You've done well," he said gently. "You are stronger than you think. Humans are special, Myra. You find solutions where others see only problems. You adapt, you survive. Myra looked at him, unsure if she could believe it. I'm just trying not to die, she said. Exactly, Kiona said with a small smile. And that is the beginning of greatness. Surviving is the first step to mastering the impossible. You have ingenuity, courage, and empathy, things machines cannot replicate. That is why you are here and why I came to save you. As they rested, Myra thought about her life before the hunt, the quiet days in her workshop, tinkering with circuits and machines. She realized that even in those quiet moments, she had been preparing herself for this. Every problem she solved, every device she repaired, had built her mind and her instincts. Humans had a gift for seeing possibilities others overlooked. That gift was her greatest weapon now. The night passed quietly, the sounds of the desert replaced by the gentle hum of the oasis. Myra felt a sense of calm settle over her, even though the hunters were still out there. She had Kiona, and together they would find a way to outthink, outmaneuver, and stay one step ahead. As dawn approached, Kiona rose and scanned the horizon. We must move, he said. The hunters will not give up easily, but we have the advantage if we think carefully. Myra nodded, gathering her strength. She felt a surge of determination. For the first time, she understood something profound. Humans were not just fragile beings, vulnerable to machines and mercenaries. Humans were thinkers, creators, problem solvers. Even when faced with overwhelming odds, they could find a path forward. And with Kiona by her side, she was not just running to survive. She was running to prove that humans could overcome any challenge. They set off together, moving across the dunes with purpose. Myra led the way through a series of hidden paths only she would have known, while Kiona covered her, his armor shining and sensors scanning the distance. The hunters' drones appeared on the horizon, but every time they tried to predict Myra's path, she and Kiona were already somewhere else. The desert became their ally, its shifting sands and secret caves hiding them from view. Hours passed, and fatigue began to set in, but Myra did not stop. Every leap, every careful step, every decision she made reminded her of the strength humans carried within. Kiona's presence was reassuring, but it was her own mind, her own ingenuity, that allowed them to keep ahead of the hunters. By the time the sun reached its peak, they reached the edge of a canyon unlike any other on Arava Prime. The canyon walls were high and smooth, forming natural tunnels that could hide them from scanning drones. Kiona gestured toward one of the tunnels. This will be our path forward. You've done well, Myra. Your creativity and courage are remarkable. Myra looked back once more, seeing the desert stretching endlessly behind them. She realized that she had been running not just from danger, but toward something greater. The realization that humans, with all their limitations, possessed a strength that no machine could match. Together they entered the tunnel, leaving the red sands and the hunters behind, for now. Myra felt a renewed sense of hope. The journey ahead would be difficult, but she was not alone. And in that moment, she understood something vital. Humans could survive, adapt, and overcome, no matter the odds. The desert faded behind them, and a new chapter of their journey began. A chapter that would test their wits, their courage, and the unique strengths that made humans extraordinary. Myra followed Kiona through the narrow tunnel, the walls glowing faintly with minerals embedded in. The rock. The air was cooler here, cleaner, and the shadows seemed to hug them like a protective cloak. She realized how much she had relied on Kiona's calm guidance, how natural it felt to trust him even though they had only just met. It was strange, but comforting. This canyon has hidden paths, Kiona said softly, paths that humans can use but machines rarely notice. The desert will protect us if we know how to use it. Myra nodded, her mind alert. She had learned to observe, to notice small details others ignored. That skill was now proving essential. She led the way, ducking under low arches, stepping over smooth stones, and avoiding narrow ledges that could have trapped them. Each time she chose a path, Kiona would scan ahead, making sure nothing was following, and his confidence made her feel braver. After some time, the tunnel widened into a massive cavern. At its center, a stream of crystal-clear water flowed gently over smooth rocks, reflecting the soft light in shimmering patterns. Myra had never seen anything so beautiful. She bent down to touch the water and felt a cool refreshment that revived her tired body. The desert had been harsh, but this place was a hidden treasure, a secret sanctuary that only a few could reach. This is why humans survive, Kiona said, breaking her thoughts. You notice things others miss. You adapt to your environment. You use your mind as much as your strength. That is why you are different. Myra smiled faintly, still catching her breath. I just know how to survive, she said. It's not special. Special is surviving when others cannot. Special is thinking when others panic. Humans have that gift, Kiona replied. His voice carried certainty, and Myra felt a warmth spread through her chest. For the first time in days, she felt truly understood. They rested near the water, and Kiona explained more about the hunters. They are after the knowledge you carry, not you, but they do not understand humans. They do not understand how we can use our minds in ways machines cannot. They only see patterns, predictability, force, but humans are unpredictable. Myra listened carefully. She had felt that unpredictability herself. Every time the drones tried to anticipate her movements, she and Kiona had found a way to escape. It was not strength or speed that had saved them. It was creativity, quick thinking, and awareness. That was a lesson she would carry forward. As the sun began to rise in Arava Prime's sky, Kiona led her out of the cavern and onto a hidden plateau. From here, they could see the desert stretching endlessly below, dunes flowing like rivers of red. And in the distance, a faint glimmer reflected the sunlight, a space station barely visible hidden among the rocky formations. This is the sanctuary, Kiona said. Humans have built it to observe and protect life. Few know of its existence. Here you will be safe, and here your knowledge will be used to protect rather than to harm. Myra's eyes widened. A hidden station built by humans floating in secrecy above the desert. She had never imagined such a place. Her curiosity sparked, her tiredness momentarily forgotten. It's incredible, she whispered. It is a place where humans' unique qualities shine, Kiona said. Ingenuity, creativity, empathy, and courage, they are all valued here. You will see what humans can achieve when they work together and think differently from anyone else. As they approached the station, Myra noticed the details that made it remarkable. It was shaped to blend with the rocky terrain below, its surfaces reflecting the colors of the desert. There were no weapons visible, no signs of aggression, only designs that helped it stay hidden while remaining functional. Humans had built it for protection and observation, not domination. Once inside, Myra was guided through corridors that glowed softly with ambient lights. Scientists, engineers, and observers worked together in quiet harmony. Every station member moved with purpose, yet without urgency or panic. Myra felt a sense of peace here, a contrast to the chaos of the desert. This is where you belong, Kiona said. Your knowledge is valuable, but more than that, your mind is important. Here, humans use their creativity to solve problems that machines cannot. Here, you will learn what it truly means to be human. Myra nodded, feeling a mix of pride and excitement. She had always loved solving problems, tinkering with machines, and exploring new ideas. Here, she could do all that and more, knowing her efforts would protect others rather than put them in danger. But safety did not mean boredom. Kiona explained that the hunters were still searching for her, using advanced scanners and strategies to locate her. They were clever, but humans were cleverer. Myra would need to use every bit of her intelligence and ingenuity to keep the sanctuary safe. The first challenge came sooner than she expected. A set of drones had approached the outer perimeter of the station, attempting to scan for hidden life. Myra watched from the observation deck as the machines hovered, their sensors probing. Normally, humans would have panicked, but here, she and Kiona knew better. They moved quietly, using mirrors and reflective surfaces to mislead the drone's sensors. They shifted lights, created false signals, and guided the machines away without harming them. Myra felt a thrill of satisfaction. She was learning the true power of human creativity. Machines were fast, predictable, and logical, but humans could think differently, improvise, and find solutions no algorithm could anticipate. That was why they survived. That was why humans were special. Over the next several days, Myra trained with Kiona and the other guardians of the station. They taught her to read the desert from afar, to understand patterns in machines, and to anticipate threats before they arrived. They emphasized problem-solving over confrontation, intelligence over force, and empathy over fear. Myra discovered that humans had a unique ability to communicate without words, to sense intentions, and to coordinate actions instinctively. Machines could scan and calculate, but they could not understand emotion, intuition, or morality. Humans had strengths no technology could replicate. One afternoon, Myra and Kiona worked together on a small project. A cluster of sensors on the edge of the station had malfunctioned, and the readings were crucial for detecting any approaching threats. Myra studied the patterns, traced circuits, and applied her engineering skills. Kiona observed quietly, offering advice only when necessary. Together, they repaired the sensors and improved their efficiency. The result was not just a functional system. It was a system enhanced by human creativity, something a machine alone could not achieve. "You see," Kiona said, watching the data flow. "Humans are more than what we build. The machines we create can calculate, replicate, and follow instructions, but only humans can innovate, adapt, and protect in ways machines cannot." Myra smiled, feeling proud. She was beginning to understand what Kiona meant. Humans were not weak, they were special. Their strength came from their minds, their hearts, and their ability to work together with purpose. As days passed, Myra and Kiona discovered more about the hunters. They were persistent, adaptive, and patient, but humans had something that machines lacked: unpredictability. Each time the hunters tried a new strategy, Myra and Kiona found an unexpected solution, using the station's environment, mirrors, energy fields, and hidden paths to guide them away. The humans never fought with violence. They outsmarted, outthought, and outmaneuvered their pursuers. One evening, as the twin moons of Arava Prime reflected off the station's outer hull, Myra looked at the horizon. The desert stretched endlessly below, a reminder of where her journey had begun. She thought about the chase, the fear, and the determination that had brought her here. And she realized that the true journey was not just escaping the hunters. It was discovering what humans could do when they used their minds, hearts, and creativity to overcome challenges. Kiona approached and placed a hand on her shoulder. "You have learned much in a short time," he said. "But the greatest lesson is this: humans survive not because they are the strongest, but because they think, adapt, and care. That is why you are special, Myra. That is why you will succeed." Myra nodded, feeling a quiet pride. She was no longer just a girl running from danger. She was part of something greater. She was part of a lineage of humans who could face impossible odds, who could think beyond machines, and who could protect life without harming others. The next morning, Myra awoke with determination. The hunters were still out there, but she and Kiona were ready. Every sensor, every strategy, every clever trick they had prepared would ensure safety. The humans of the sanctuary would continue to watch, protect, and guide. And Myra, for the first time, understood her own power, the power of being human. As the sun rose over the desert, casting light on the hidden station, Myra smiled. The journey was far from over, but she was no longer afraid. Humans had survived, thrived, and conquered challenges throughout history. And she would continue that legacy, using her mind, her creativity, and her courage to protect life and knowledge wherever they were needed. The desert below remained silent, the hunters, drones hovering in the distance, unaware of the clever strategies humans had already set in motion. Myra and Kiona moved with quiet confidence, ready for whatever challenges would come next. And in that moment, Myra knew the truth. Humans were extraordinary not because of their strength, but because of their mind, their heart, and their will to persevere. Myra stood at the observation deck, watching the desert stretch endlessly beneath the hidden sanctuary. The hunters had returned, their drones glinting like tiny stars as they scanned for her. She felt no fear this time. Instead, she felt a surge of determination. Everything she had learned, the lessons from Kiona, the ingenuity of the humans in the sanctuary, her own resourcefulness, had prepared her for this moment. Kiona joined her silently, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "They are persistent," he said, "but they do not understand humans. They see patterns, but they cannot anticipate imagination. That is our advantage." Myra nodded. She had thought about the situation carefully. The hunters were skilled, yes, but predictable in their reliance on technology. Machines could track, follow, and predict, but they could not think creatively, improvise, or understand human intent. That was where she and Kiona could outthink them. The sanctuary hummed with quiet activity. Humans moved efficiently, adjusting sensors, repositioning mirrors, and managing energy flows to create illusions for the drones. Each action was precise, yet creative. Every member of the sanctuary knew their role, but they were also encouraged to think independently, to try new approaches, to challenge assumptions. Myra realized that this was the essence of human ingenuity, structure and freedom working together. "We can guide them away," Myra said. "We don't need to fight them, we just need to make them believe the station is somewhere else or that it is inactive. Then they will leave." Kiona smiled. "Exactly, humans do not need weapons to win, humans need ideas." Myra began setting her plan into motion. She moved quickly, arranging reflective panels to redirect the drone's sensors. She programmed subtle shifts in the energy fields around the station to create false signals, as if the sanctuary had moved miles away. Kiona guided her, offering suggestions and ensuring that every adjustment worked in harmony with the environment. As the drones hovered closer, Myra held her breath. She had learned patience as much as strategy. Every action had to be calculated, every movement considered. Then she released a small burst of energy from the core in a controlled way, sending a message not of threat, but of awareness. It was a pulse, a signal of life, intelligence, and intention. The hunter's machines reacted to it, hesitating, confused by the unexpected communication. Myra smiled quietly. Humans could think in ways no machine could replicate. She adjusted the mirrors, redirected the signals, and guided the drones on a wild, misleading path across the desert. Every moment was a test of creativity and calm thinking, and every moment proved the uniqueness of the human mind. The hunters communicated among themselves, adjusting their strategies, but Myra and Kiona were always one step ahead. They anticipated, they adapted, they improvised. They moved through the sanctuary like a single organism, humans working in perfect harmony with their environment and their own ingenuity. Hours passed. The drones began to falter. The humans' clever use of light, energy, and perception had created an impossible puzzle for the machines. Myra watched as the drones drifted farther away, their signals weakening, their paths erratic. At last, they began to retreat, leaving the sanctuary untouched. Kiona placed his hand on Myra's shoulder again. "You see what humans can do," he said. "We do not need force to succeed. Our greatest strength is our mind, our creativity, and our ability to work together. That is why you are special." Myra felt a swell of pride. She had escaped danger, not by fighting, but by thinking, by applying what she had learned, and by trusting in the unique qualities of humans. She realized that this was the true meaning of survival. Humans survived not because they were the strongest, but because they could imagine, adapt, and understand the world in ways others could not. The rest of the day passed quietly, with humans reinforcing the sanctuary, checking sensors, and refining their systems. Myra worked alongside them, contributing ideas, learning techniques, and discovering that she could make a difference in ways she had never imagined. The sanctuary was not just a safe place. It was a testament to human creativity, collaboration, and resilience. As the sun began to set over the desert, Myra and Kiona walked to the edge of the station, looking down at the shifting dunes below. The desert that had once been a place of fear and pursuit now seemed peaceful, almost protective. Myra realized that humans had turned every challenge into an opportunity. The desert had taught her, the chase had taught her, and the sanctuary had shown her the full potential of human ingenuity. "You have grown," Kiona said softly, "not just in skill, but in understanding. Humans have a power no machine can replicate. Courage, creativity, empathy, and determination, these are our true weapons." Myra nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. She had learned that her knowledge, her mind, and her heart were her strengths. She was not just running to survive. She was running to protect, to create, and to prove what humans could achieve. That night, under the twin moons of Arava Prime, Myra stood on the observation deck, looking at the desert and the stars beyond. She thought of the hunters, of their technology, and of the challenges they represented. But she no longer felt fear. She felt confidence because she understood something essential. Humans had an extraordinary gift. It was a gift of creativity, of problem-solving, of empathy, and of courage. It was the ability to see beyond what was obvious, to imagine solutions where none seemed possible, and to adapt to situations that would overwhelm others. Humans were special, not because of their machines, but because of their minds and hearts. The hunters' drones were far away now, confused and misled by the clever systems Myra and the sanctuary's team had devised. They had tried to control, to dominate, but humans had turned the challenge into an opportunity. Every obstacle had been a chance to demonstrate ingenuity, every pursuit a chance to show resilience. Kiona placed a hand on Myra's shoulder once more. "You have done more than survive," he said. "You have shown what it means to be human. Your courage, creativity, and intelligence have protected this place and proven the truth. Humans are extraordinary." Myra felt a quiet joy, a sense of accomplishment she had never known before. She looked at the desert below, the sanctuary around her, and the stars beyond. The journey had been long and challenging, but it had shown her the full potential of humans. "I understand now," she said softly. "It's not about being the fastest, the strongest, or even the smartest. It's about thinking, adapting, and caring. That's what makes us special." Kiona nodded, a smile on his face. "Exactly, and now you are part of that legacy. You will teach others, guide them, and continue to protect life, just as we have protected you." Myra felt a sense of purpose that filled her completely. She was no longer the girl running through the desert, hunted and afraid. She was a guardian, a thinker, and a protector. She had learned the greatest lesson of all. Humans were not just survivors. They were innovators, problem solvers, and creators. And that power, the power of imagination, courage, and heart, was something no machine could ever match. The night passed quietly, the desert silent, and the sanctuary secure. Myra and Kiona watched the stars, thinking of the challenges that had come and the ones that might come in the future. But for now, they knew they had won, not through force, but through human ingenuity. Myra realized that the journey was not over. There would always be challenges, always be obstacles, but humans had a way of turning every difficulty into an opportunity. And she would be ready, because she understood the truth that had guided her from the desert to the sanctuary. Humans are extraordinary not because of strength, but because of mind, heart, and creativity. As dawn approached, the sanctuary glimmered in the first light, a hidden testament to human brilliance. Myra stood tall, confident, and ready. She had learned that humans could protect, guide, and inspire without harming others. That was the essence of their greatness, the reason they could thrive even against challenges far beyond their reach. The hunters were gone for now, but the lesson remained clear. Humans were not just another species. They were problem solvers, innovators, and protectors. They could overcome impossible odds with intelligence, empathy, and courage. And Myra, having survived the desert, outsmarted the hunters, and embraced her potential, was living proof of that extraordinary truth. She looked at Kiona, and he nodded, understanding without words. Together they had faced danger, relied on human creativity, and emerged victorious. Not through force, but through thought, collaboration, and heart. Myra smiled, feeling the strength of humanity within her. The desert had tested her, the hunters had pursued her, and the sanctuary had trained her. Now she knew her purpose. She was a guardian of life, a thinker, and a protector. Humans were special, and she would carry that truth wherever she went. And as the twin suns rose, painting the desert in brilliant shades of gold and red, Myra felt an overwhelming sense of pride. She had discovered the greatest secret of all. Humans could achieve the impossible, not through machines or weapons, but through imagination, courage, and compassion. That was the power of being human, and in that moment she knew the universe would never forget it.